this all very spur of the moment because, well, I have a tiny bit of time left alone to my own devices with a very nice 16 Shelby GT350. It belongs to a friend of mine. If you didn't catch the other video with this vehicle, that's your loss, or I just haven't published it yet. Either way, it's for sale, and it belongs to my friend Vinny's. Thank you, Vinny, for letting me spend some time on this car with this car, and I'm helping him sell it. So it's going to be on Cars and Bids with no reserve, which is, you know, you got to risk it to get the biscuit. I think it's going to bring a lot of attention because it's a really cool car, and I think somebody is going to buy it and be happy with it. And well, why would you buy a Shelby GT350? I've been driving around a little bit. It's not like I've spent a day with it. I've spent maybe an hour in it, and it is kind of magical. I've never been Mustang guy. There's a certain stigma, I think, with Mustangs, a going sideways out of and through a Cars and Coffee sort of stigma. But this car specifically, the GT350, is very different. It's not I don't want to say it's not a Mustang, but it's closer to a discounted American GT3 than it has any business being. Where to start? Well, I guess you start with the engine, right? V8, 526 horsepower, I believe. Revs to like 8,200, and it wants to be there. It begs you to rev it to there, and it just is absolutely sonorous. The noises that it makes with the flat plane crank setup is very good. I don't know. One can argue whether the traditional, like a Mustang GT at the 90-degree crank and its firing order sounds better or not. It's different. It's not like, you know, people say, oh, flat plane crank, so it has a Ferrari crank in it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound like any of the V8 Ferrari stuff. It doesn't sound like your typical Mustang with the standard cross plane crank. It just sounds good, and it sounds unique, and this car is pretty unique. It's yeah, it's a Mustang, so, you know, from outside it's got some niceties and things like that, but it still generally looks like a Mustang, so it's not unique from that standpoint. And the interior isn't terribly unique. You've got this kind of upgraded steering wheel. You've got the nice bucket seats, which are excellent. They feel good. I can see maybe on a very, very long trip, the upper back portion of it is not quite fitting for my back, but I tend to run with a pretty reasonably big slouch, and I don't know. I think that's a me problem, not a seat problem. But, you know, it is a pretty unique car, just with the engine. The 6-speed manual feels great. It's not wanting for power or noises. It handles well. I think sometimes people complain that the ride is a little bit rough. I think it's absolutely perfect for this car. I do find that it's a little twitchy's not the right word, but maybe a little bit darty. I think that's what you get when you have really like sharp and precise and quick steering, which this car has. And it seems to be boosted a little, maybe a little bit not as heavy as more traditional, you know, modern handling sports cars. It does feel like it grabs tram lines a little bit, but again, I think that's just a side effect of quick steering, a tiny bit over boosted for my liking, and just big sticky tires. Now you get used to it kind of immediately, so it's just a quirk. I don't know if I would say it's a ding on this car, because I think this car's almost unflappable as far as how good it is. Yes, it is a Mustang. Yes, it looks like a Mustang, and I think that's maybe the only conceivable reason why someone would not want to buy this car is because they don't want to be Mustang guy, or they don't want to at least outwardly put that appearance out of like, hey, I'm Mustang guy. I'm Shelby guy. You know, again, as I said before, I think there's maybe a touch of stigma there. It is a good looking car. Yeah, it looks like a Mustang because it is, but it's a sharp, sinister looking car, especially in this black over black color combo. So it's not like it's lacking in looks department, but I do think just that's the one thing is, you know, some people don't want to be BMW guy. Lots of people don't want to be Corvette guy, or Challenger guy, or gal, you know, whichever, but, or Porsche guy or gal. And so if you don't want to be Mustang guy or gal, that's probably seriously, other than like fuel economy and a bigger back seat, which you're not shopping anywhere in this, anything close to this car, if those are your concerns anyways, there's really no other reason. People poo-poo the interior a little bit, like, oh, you know, there's some hard plastics, and that's fair when you're doing what I'm doing right now, which is sitting in it and just looking around it and tapping on things, and not driving it. The moment you start it up and the moment you start driving it, you don't care. Nobody cares. It's for what you get, you know, used now. This car is almost 43,000 miles on it. The fact that you can buy this for under $50,000 in today's insane market, really is kind of a testament to bang for buck. I don't know that there's a better performance car all the way around for your money. And I mean like numbers performance car. Can you have more fun in something like a one of the Subiota twins, you know, the BRZ or FRS or GT? What are they even calling that nowadays? Is it the GT? Is it the 86? Is it I don't even know. But that car, the Subiota, yeah, okay, maybe you can have as much fun in that car just because it's a little bit of a little tossable riot. It's not this car. This car weighs like 1,000 pounds more. However, the engine is fantastic. The transmission is fantastic. The steering and suspension are very, very good. And just the absolute level of thrust and speeds that you can carry in this thing and fun that you can have with it. All you have to do is put your foot down and wind it out. Yeah, and V8 that goes over 8,000 RPM. That's an incredible party trick that doesn't stop disappointing. Some party tricks, you know, they wear their welcome out pretty quickly. Not in this car. You keep driving it, it just keeps getting better, and you want to push it harder and harder, and it won't let you down. So, to round it out, yeah. Something that's smaller and a little bit more tossable. This car does not feel like it's 3,800 pounds. You know, once you get me in here and a full tank of gas and some camera bag, over 4,000 pounds is what this thing's slinging around. But it doesn't feel like that because the steering is so light, and it steers so well. But with that said, if you want something smaller and tighter, fair. Or you want something that gets good gas mileage, fair. Otherwise, all the other possible reasons in the world that you would want to, you know, buy a sports car, a pony car, a GT car, with a manual, there's no, I think, bang for your buck. This is really kind of it. I just wish I personally had the coin. I'd have to sell like all of my cars to be able to buy one of these. Which is not to say that this car is overpriced or it costs a lot of money. It just goes that I don't have a lot of money and all of my cars are worth nearly nothing. So that's it. Thanks for giving me an opportunity and a platform to ramble about cars with you today. I didn't plan on doing this. I was just out shooting a driving video and a quick walk around tour of this car. But I got to drive it and I couldn't stop smiling. Like, I couldn't. I'm still really excited to keep driving this thing down the road and get it back home. And all the accolades and everything that people talk about it are worth it. So I wanted to just echo those. These aren't terribly original ideas. I'm sure there's about 10,000 review videos with other people's perspective on it, but I thought I would be remiss not to just sit here for a second and just throw something together as a quick impromptu why anyone would want to buy this car, which is, why not? Do it. So if you want to buy this particular one, this is not a sales pitch for this car, but it is going to be up live on Cars and Bids. Look for it. Look for any other cars like this. I still think on most of the auction sites, they're still going for reasonable money. I think they're actually better purchased on some of the auction sites compared to some of the dealerships I've seen, because a lot of the dealerships are really asking almost original MSRP, if not more, on a lot of these cars, especially if they've got lower miles. So hop on an auction site, hop on a classifieds ad or whatever, track one down. You won't regret it. It's just really cool. So thanks for tagging along. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Do all the likes, subscribe, all that fun stuff, or don't. It helps me out, but if it doesn't help you out, then don't do it. Otherwise, thanks guys. Bye.